Ready? Hello? Hello, everyone, including Connie. It just means hello. Okay, welcome to the August 21st, 2014 Design Review Committee meeting. First item of business is turn off your phones, which I have already done that, so I'm proud of myself. I would appreciate it if everybody else does that. We need roll call.
Betsy Brunstetter.
Present.
G.T. Faulkner. Charles Ainsworth.
Present.
Ike Aikenwande.
Present.
Connie Scothorn.
Present.
Richard Tannenbaum. You have a quorum.
Okay. We have a quorum. Do we have an approval in the minutes? Okay, that was a Tannenbaum-Faulkner motion. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Any opposed? I am not with it today, sorry. We have no cases withdrawn. We have no continuance request. And we have nothing on the consent docket. Do you have?
I do. Madam Chairman, I would like to move the last item on the agenda up to the present, and that would be the resolution for Scotty Montgomery.
Second.
Okay. Great. Can you pull that out for me, please? Okay. We have lost a dear staff member who has been with the Downtown Design Review for how many years? 8 years, 7 years? From inception. Scotty Montgomery. She's done other work with the city, and we have a resolution in her memory. Whereas Scotty Montgomery reliably contributed careful and thoughtful work to serve the citizens of Oklahoma City in her role as Associate Planner in the Oklahoma City Planning Department from January 2006 to June 2014, and as Secretary of the Downtown Design Review Committee from May 2007 to June 2014. Whereas Scotty Montgomery advanced the City of Oklahoma City's urban design function and downtown design review process from its infancy, thereby creating a lasting positive impact on the form and function of the city. And whereas Scotty Montgomery contributed much to the committee through her comprehensive knowledge and in-depth analysis of urban design, architectural design, historical preservation, and aesthetic sensibility. And whereas the committee benefited greatly from her expertise and thoughtfulness in reviewing and recommending cases, and whereas Scotty Montgomery demonstrated uncommon dedication to the committee and to the citizens of Oklahoma City through her methodical attention to detail and earnest regard for making the city a better place and a more beautiful place. Whereas Scotty Montgomery earned admiration from the committee and colleagues for her thoughtfully formed and gracefully articulated opinions. Whereas Scotty Montgomery consistently treated applicants, citizens, committee members, and staff with courtesy and respect. And whereas Scotty Montgomery's intelligence, humor, sincerity, collaborative spirit, and great attitude served the community well. And whereas Scotty Montgomery made a marked difference in the community and in the lives of her family, friends, and coworkers, colleagues, and citizens. And whereas Scotty Montgomery will be dearly missed. Now, therefore, it be resolved that the Downtown Design Review Committee hereby respectfully honors the late Scotty Montgomery, and I won't mention her birth date, who passed away on June 24, 2014, for her outstanding service to the Downtown Design Review Committee of Oklahoma City, adopted by the Downtown Design Review Committee of Oklahoma City on this date, 21st of August, 2014, and we do need to make that adoption. Do we have a motion? All in favor? Thank you very much. Okay, moving on. And I'll pass this around so everyone can sign it. Okay. The first item on the cases for individual consideration, 440 North Oklahoma Avenue. Is the applicant present?
Yes.
Will you come forth? Yeah. Hi there. Can you state your name?
I'm Mark Tolson.
Okay. Could you pass the pen around, please? Hi. Could you tell us the new thing that's going on with you?
Yes, thank you. We came before you about a year ago, September 2013, for the Maywood 2, and Mike's putting that up there. Thanks for doing that. As you know, we're across from Maywood 1. We did not design Maywood 1, but we helped them finish that building. I want to be clear on that. We have owned the land. We took the warehouses down, so they're literally ready to start. So we have those existing buildings that are ready to go. They've been surveyed and designed. We came before you with a 6-story above-ground scheme last year. In the last year, two things have happened. One, construction costs have gone through the roof. Second thing is HUD, who is our insurer of our loan, came back and said 4 stories means 4 stories above the ground. So things that we did at the edge, things that we did at Maywood 1 are no longer allowed. Rule down from Washington, 1, 2, 3, 4 stories is 4 stories. If you go above 4 stories, you have to do commercial wages. And then that becomes all kinds of commercial requirements. Talked to the owner and the contractor yesterday, and they said that was a $5 million add to this deal. So we came up with the idea to sink the whole building in the ground, put 3 stories of garage underground, cost $2 million. We saved $4 million. They did some underwriting. It worked. So basically, we have the same building just sunk 3 stories in the ground, which addresses some of the questions that you had about having a more friendly street edge. The restaurants literally are designed, they're leased, and they're ready to go. So that was one of our concerns, was keeping that far eastern edge for the restaurants. But you can see that we've kept essentially the same kind of character. We had to move the garage entry over to the west side, but it's still same amount of parking. We actually added parking for the restaurants on the side. Clubhouse is still on the western side. Same basic building articulation, same basic building design. We have a word from Lamar about the billboard. Don't touch the billboard. Don't move the billboard. Don't even try. We will come after you. So after extensive attorney work, we are building around the billboard. So the billboard comes down through the middle of the restaurant, and we'll cover around it. And I think they're afraid of, if they bring the billboard up for discussion, it's going to go away. So we are incorporating the billboard into the building, which is really no one's choice, but that's what we're having to do. So you can sort of see the difference between the elevations. The restaurant side stays essentially exactly the same. Those are all designed. Literally, they're going for permit probably next month to finish those shells out. They're local people that you guys would all know their names that are coming downtown. It's actually one owner, but it's 3 different concepts of restaurants using the same kitchen. And so it's pretty exciting. We're giving them parking in the garage. From a planning standpoint, you can see the billboard there on the corner coming down through the middle of the restaurant, which is not exactly my favorite thing. And so that's basically what we've done. We've kept the same. Let me go back here. This is sensitive. Let me go back. Like, this is not going back. Should one around here.
So can you tell us who the...
Yeah, we've kept basically, it's not working. So just wanted to go back to the plan. So club is still on the side, restaurants are still on the side. That one right there is fine. So everything stays essentially exactly the same. And that's what we've done. So.
Can you tell us who the residents are, or are you keeping that a secret from me?
I'm not, I thought about that on the plane. I don't know, I don't know if I'm at liberty to say who they are, so you would know who they are. They don't have a presence downtown, and they've flown to Dallas and actually met with us and been involved in the shell design, and the owner of the building is very good friends, and it's a pretty neat concept. I'm pretty excited about it. So we had to do a lot of building manipulation to get their design in, so yeah, I wish I could tell you. Hopefully they'll make it public pretty soon, so.
As David Wanser knows, I always want to know.
Yes. When we've told people, when Mr. Bradshaw has told people, when we've been at meetings, they've been very excited, so. So that's all I know, so.
I'm much happier. I was kind of amazed.
Yeah, so that's what we've been able to do. It saves a ton of money. It doesn't jeopardize the building. We have the same amount of club space, same amount of units, same quality, and we're very happy with it, so thank you.
Do we have any questions from the committee? Or Michael, do you want to address anything?
No, we don't have anything to add. We pretty much supported recommendation of approval on this.
Anybody? Do you have a motion? That was an Ike and Dick. Actually, a Dick and Ike motion. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you very much. The next applicant is 301 North Walker. Is the applicant present?
Not sure.
I would like to move this item to the heel of the docket until,
Sure.
so we can have an opportunity to have that applicant present.
Madam Chairman,
Yes?
it's ongoing already.
Huh?
It's ongoing.
It's ongoing.
Oh, yeah, they're fully at work over there.
Maybe that's why they're not here. So what should we do?
They do not have a CA.
I've noticed that they're doing something over
But
there.
they told us they were doing a mock-up. I haven't driven by to see if they're mocking up the entire building.
How do you get a permit?
It's just changing other materials, maybe. Well, I'd like to move it to the heel of the docket to give the applicant an opportunity to show up. We don't have to vote on that, do we, Susan? Okay. The next application, 6C, is 40 Northwest 12th Street. Is the applicant present? Yes. Will you come forward and talk to us, please? Tell us what your name is. Write it down on a piece of paper.
Hi, Steve Boyd with Oklahoma Contemporary Arts Center, 3000 General Pershing Boulevard. We are proposing to put a art installation in Campbell Park between 11th and 12th and Broadway. The installation itself will go between the WPA sidewalk that is installed there. It's by New York artist Orly Ginger. She's pretty well known. She has done a sculpture similar to this at Madison Square Park in New York and at the Cordova Sculpture Garden in Massachusetts. It'll go up. The opening will be the 20th of October. We'll install 2 weeks prior to that, and the installation will remain up through the following October. Exact end date still to be determined. There will also be an educational marker on the site that will give an artist statement, curatorial statement, talk about the piece, let people know what's going on there.
Do we have any comment from the Arts Commission?
The Arts Commission has approved it.
Okay.
And the Parks Commission approved it at their meeting yesterday.
Okay, good to know. I think it's cool. What, do you guys, have you had a chance to look at the guy's website?
It's actually it's a she.
Oh, sorry.
It couldn't be more perfect for that site. It's just,
I think it's
Very cool.
yeah, I think it's going to be really outstanding. It'll be, obviously outside, free to all, accessible to everyone. I think it's going to make a big splash there on that north end of Automobile Alley.
Steve, is the intent to do more? Because it's a temporary...
Correct. In the future, as you all know, we're going to be building our new home is right behind there, and so we're going to use this park, hopefully ongoing, for outdoor exhibitions like this for the whole city.
Yeah, I did notice that she was a she on her website, but it just doesn't sound very much like a she. Okay, do you guys have a motion?
Move to approve.
That was a Faulkner Tannenbaum motion. All in favor? Any opposed? Thank you very much.
We'll start October 6th. It'll last 2 weeks and open to the public on Monday the 20th, I'm sorry. I hope you all come. Thank you.
Okay, next item, 6D, 960.
There was a condition on that.
Oh, there was? Okay, sorry. We do have, sorry, just a minute before you go. We have one more thing to take care of on that. So if you could come forth again. Okay, there is a condition on that, and I don't know if you saw the staff report where it said that. And we just need to make sure that did you see that?
What was the condition? I'm sure.
It was that it's temporary, that it'll be...
Oh, yes,
by the
absolutely. It will
end
go
of
down the
2020.
following October. It will be down well before that date.
Okay. So do we need to amend our motion?
I amend my motion to include removal from the site by December 31st, 2015.
Okay. Second? Okay. All in favor? Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you, sorry. Okay, now, next.
Good morning. Asa Highsmith, Boots of Gardner Architects, 718 West Sheridan.
You want to tell us about your project?
Sure. It's 6th and Classen. It's the southeast corner. The existing building was a garage with a little bit of office space that I think served the garage. It's basically a core and shell. We're preparing the building for tenants, and most of what we're doing are really exterior improvements. It being on that part of Classen, currently that area is a little bit brutal, to be honest, with the amount of traffic that flows through there and the lack of street improvements that help beautify the area. So a lot of the architecture there is meant to try to soften the site, try to make it attractive for pedestrians and people that want to visit this new project. Should I get into an explanation of the architecture, like the actual...
Yeah, do you have do you have a presentation that you want to show us that includes renderings or anything?
There's a rendering included. This is from the corner. This is from Classen and 6th looking southeast. The existing building is set back a bit from the site. The parking as shown is where it currently is. The attempt here is to, again, soften the site with landscaping and some new architectural elements, including the steel structures that you see on the diner corner, as well as the right-hand corner, which is along Classen. We're trying to create a bit of an outdoor space, like a shaded outdoor area. Part of the concept was to have this meet the street as if it was the building, so to try to hold the corner, come to the build-to line with the building without actually, having to extend the actual building. This, we felt like, would provide a great space, again, for outdoor pedestrian enjoyment, hopefully for a new restaurant tenant there. Same on the diner corner. It provides a much more scaled down exterior patio area while also helping to provide some west shading. Both are meant to be for vertical landscape growth. So these are like cable wire mesh on steel structure, again, meant to basically hold vine or other vertical landscape elements.
I thought this was great when I opened it up and was studying a little bit, and this project is going to require a variance. But I was just curiosity, are you utilizing, you're putting the, decomposed granite or crushed granite in the parking?
Yeah, crushed granite in the, at the parking stalls. So where the actual cars will park are the only places where we're trying to add that in.
It's the same as at your office.
Yes, yeah. If you guys have ever been to our office, correct. We've got some of the same. I think it's, again, a good way to help soften the feeling of the site. There's not as much just, hot asphalt or concrete. Obviously, it has benefits for stormwater. It allows for faster drainage, and, the city's sewers are dealing with less in that instance. So I think there's a lot of benefits to it.
So the curiosity is, are you keeping some existing paving there, or are you going to pour that back?
There will be some existing paving.
Right,
Basically, the area is not affected by the decomposed granite or the crushed granite would be the existing paving.
Right. Okay, Michael, did you have anything you wanted to?
Well, we did identify in the staff report 3 issues for consideration by the committee. The first being the setback. And, the way the regulations are in downtown, there's an encouragement, in fact, a regulation that requires buildings to be set within 10 feet of the front property line, as you're all familiar with that. Being that this is a project that's working with an existing building, obviously, there's the applicability of that provision is somewhat in question. However, they have brought out to the Clausen frontage a enclosed patio structure with a living screen wall that does mimic what would be required by adhering to that requirement. So we've recommended to the committee that we feel that that's a favorable item for recommendation of approval on this project. Secondarily, we did highlight and discuss the proposal to use the decomposed granite. That is an issue that is also a regulation, and to vary from it would require approval of a variance, and we've provided a recommendation for you in the staff report that the committee provide a recommendation to the Board of Adjustment to support that variance request. And then thirdly, and this kind of goes back to the fact that he's working with an existing structure, an existing site plan, that the code, the guidelines in the district do speak to the issue of trying not to locate parking lots at street corners. However, this lot is already there, and because of that, we're recommending approval of the project.
Great. Any questions from the committee?
I do. I'm sorry. I never know how detailed I'm supposed to look at these plans. But you have a golden rain tree, which is a great tree, which should not be put that close to a building because it tends to attract box elder bugs, which are yuck. You don't want to have them if you're going to be eating.
Sure.
So you might just want to switch that tree out.
Yeah, noted.
But, sorry.
I won't.
I don't know that either. Yeah, I don't know that anyone realizes that we're looking at plans that are this size. So it takes a magnifying glass, so I don't know what that is either. What your living wall is.
Oh, we are looking at 2 different vines. I think they're, I know one of them's like a trumpet honeysuckle. Does that sound? I apologize. I don't know them off the top of my head.
Yeah, it will.
Well, it's only meant to be on this cable mesh. It's not actually going to be attached to any of the like masonry.
It will grow. It will come out and get your clients. Circle it.
Gotcha. Well, we'll look further into that then too.
The only question I have and the mayor's representative came to the last meeting, I think, and spoke about, gravel parking lots and this and that and the other. And I think it's a great idea personally, but is there any problem with doing that relative to ADA or, that concern that he voiced? I mean,
There is.
I don't know.
We actually, where the ADA spots end up being, you do want hard paving, and you will have, you'll keep the 5-foot, I don't know what they call it, the like set-out area for the path will stay hard paving as well. So it provides them with a route of access.
But one point of interest is I was in Scottsdale last February, and out on the trails, they actually have handicap symbols embedded in crushed granite and create a handicap parking stall, and evidently it's legitimate. So anyway,
That's new
as
to
long
me.
as it's compressed the way it should be, I think that may be a possibility. But we haven't tried it here yet, and we're not going to, right?
Not yet.
Well, I think as long as you've taken care of the ADA needs, I really like the inclusion of some crushed granite. I think it softens what was a very utilitarian site, and you're making it people-friendly, and I applaud you for it. I like the design a lot. It's great.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Anybody from the audience?
All right, I'm Yvonne York. My husband has a problem with his throat, so I will speak for him today. We absolutely have no objection to this wonderful building going in and to any of the facilities they're going to do. It will be in walking distance, and I can go get a good hamburger. But the thing that we want to object to is the variance on parking if you cannot afford us the same. We own the property at 929 Northwest 5th, which would be right in line with that, just south of it. And as you read that, we have attempted before to erect a building or have it for other various uses, and we were given very strict rules that we had to go by to build or to do anything there. So this would be a great idea if you can afford us the same consideration when we decide to do something with that, including possibly a paid parking lot, because we're having so much downtown functions, and we can see Oklahoma City growing, and there's a great need for parking or other buildings that we might choose to erect. So the, excuse me, the only part that we object to is the variance on their parking. We would like a variance on what we can do there on the parking.
I don't think there is a variance on the parking.
If you read your deal, it
Well,
says...
it's the paving materials for the parking lot. Is that what you're talking about?
Yes, ma'am. It says the existing driveway areas and so on. Are they going to be able to encroach on the city, or is the parking going to have to be set back as far as it normally would be set back?
There is a, Michael, you want to address this?
Yeah, the parking is basically where you see it today. It's set back off the sidewalk. It's not in the public right-of-way. It's on the project property site. They're not getting a variance for the number of parking stalls at all. The
Can you-
variance is only related to the pavement.
Can you address the parking requirement for the downtown design review areas?
There is no parking requirement downtown.
So there's no parking required for this building?
There's no restrictions.
No restrictions?
How about the property just south?
That would be the case for your property as well. I don't know when you came to try to...
We had gone to the City Planning Commission on the 8th floor of downtown just to get the information a few years ago and was told that we could not. But that today is neither here nor there. We would just like the same opportunity to be able to put in a paid parking lot or to build office buildings or something on that property with the same restrictions or as this would have.
Well, I think what she's saying, I mean, that would be a project for individual consideration, wouldn't it? I mean, you would have to bring the project to us and apply just like anyone else would apply, and we would consider it based on the project's merits. Am I wrong, Madam Chairman?
Right.
Right?
But,
Am I right?
But we don't, this particular project doesn't have, well, and actually any project in the downtown area doesn't have a requirement for X number of parking spaces. However, they are parking people on a lot that they're removing the concrete and putting in a crushed granite material. And by doing that, they require a variance on that.
Now, on another location, which I will not mention, we were not allowed to do that. And in fact, we had two tires that we inadvertently had on grass, and we were ticketed for that. So I think that if this is given, and I have no objection to it, and I don't think you do you? If the same is given to us or anyone else, if they want crushed gravel.
Well, I think as Chuck said, that particular thing depends on the project, and it would have to go through, if it's in the downtown area, it would have to go through this body, and then it would have to go through the Board of Adjustment. And we would have to make decisions based on the project.
And this property?
This property is...
What do you propose on it?
Well, we haven't voted on that yet, so I can't really tell you.
And if you do vote that it can be, then will you afford me the same consideration?
Depending on your project, what your project looks like. They've designed this...
I'm being argumentative, and I know it, but I'm trying to get an idea here. Why does it matter?
Ma'am, it's hard for us...
Gravel is gravel and concrete is concrete.
It's hard for us to approve a project that's not formally submitted to the planning department and to us. So your project would be considered individually on its own merits at the time you decide to apply for whatever you're going to do. And, we try to be fair on all. I mean,
Well,
I think...
also we had a representative from the mayor to talk about gravel parking lots. Is that what the subject was?
Susan, you want to talk about that?
No, I was just going to say what you correctly stated, that we have to look at each project on a case-by-case basis. We cannot, promise or guarantee that we would do the very same thing. It would depend on the facts, so...
Then am I understanding you properly that you can pick and choose whomever you want to have gravel or concrete?
No, that is incorrect.
What is correct?
It would depend on the facts of the case. And
that is exactly what I asked you.
And we're not going to guarantee. It would depend on what you're doing. So,
For instance, this project has a well-contained parking area. They're landscaping it. They are using a material that has been approved in a couple of other places in Oklahoma, in downtown Oklahoma City, that is considered that will be contained. It's not a gravel parking lot, it's a crushed, is it crushed granite?
Crushed granite, I believe you said.
Yeah. Which is smoother, and people can walk on it without getting, their heels stuck in it or whatever. This is a lot different than just, and I don't know what your project would be, but this is a lot different than if someone came to us and said, we have this 150 by 50 foot lot and we want to just put gravel on it. That's different.
Please try and listen closely, as my husband does have a problem in your hearing him, and he would like to speak.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I just want to tell you we appreciate all the great work and the time you spend on developing downtown and Oklahoma City. It's coming into a great place and a very beautiful place. Our main concern is that we do have the lot. Our business address is 825 Northwest 4th. We live at 818 Northwest 17th. We've always been downtown. We love it, and we want to have the same consideration in our programs as anyone else. That's the main thing. We do have property in 800 block on 4th Street, and on Classen, and then on Western, and Classen again. But our main concern is that we have the same opportunity to have the same parking privileges as anyone else in our area. For the sole purpose, our lots are not real large, as nowhere downtown, and we would need maybe some help on how many parking places are required for a certain size building, because we probably will be developing maybe lawyer offices because they love it downtown. It's close to the courthouse. So that's probably what we'll be doing. We don't really have any objection to these young people or these folks building a beautiful place there. We appreciate it. It will help the area a great deal. Our main concern is when we get to the point where we have the same consideration. And that's all that we're asking for at this time. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. You can come visit with Michael, but anytime, and he can explain it more thoroughly and show you what it says in the ordinance about what is required for parking and what the materials are for a parking lot or the requirements for parking for a certain size building.
Yes, I understand that there are certain, like Bricktown, for instance, they're not required to have parking. Whereas if we build a building, we have to have so much parking. That's where it was because we've already went through it. But anyway, the thing is, we want to make Oklahoma City downtown better than it has been by putting up new buildings. And sometimes you can't put up the size of building you need if you're required to have a lot of parking. That's our concern mainly, that we have due consideration as others have, because that we're trying to make Oklahoma City better, not hurt it.
I don't think we're in the code business to, I think zoning and code decide or will have standards on how much parking you need in different areas of the city based on your project.
Right, the requirements are very,
we don't
very
have
complicated.
Yeah, we don't have any say over that. It's whatever.
Right, and the requirements are very complicated, and there's a process to help everybody achieve what they want to build. So please come to the 9th floor, talk to me, Michael, or Brandon, and we'll sit down and talk through what you want to do and how you can get there.
What we have been stated before, it would depend on the square footage of the building, how much parking we would be required to have. I don't know if that's still true or not, but it was based on square footage.
Sure, well, let's sit down. There's a lot of factors involved, so let's sit down, look at your site, and talk through what you want to do, and then we'll give you information on how how to get there.
Well, we appreciate that very much. We appreciate the opportunity to come to discuss our concerns. Your patience with us. Thank you very much.
Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Thanks for paying attention to what's going on in the city, too.
You're very welcome.
Okay, yeah, David?
David Wanzer, 718 West Sheridan. I'm the owner of the building. Myself and Orisa would also be happy to speak to Mr. and Mrs. York and help with their... Oh, I know, but just to help them understand, and you guys would be great asset, but just, I'll visit with you guys and trade cards, and we'll be happy to visit with them too, so.
Okay. We're out getting business. Okay, any other questions about the project? Do we have any motions?
Betsy noticed there's a condition. There's a condition on this one also. It's on page 6 of the staff report.
Okay, I'm ready to make a motion. I'll make a motion to approve the application on the basis that the project complies with the regulations and guidelines of the Downtown Design District zoning ordinances referenced in Section C of the staff report with the following condition: that the applicant receives a variance from the Board of Adjustment to allow decomposed gravel as an alternative parking lot material. And then I would add that do I need a separate motion? Okay.
Yep.
So that's my motion.
We have a motion, do we have a second? That's an Ainsworth Tannenbaum motion. All in favor? Any opposed? Do we have a motion on the variance?
I'd also like to provide a recommendation of approval to the Board of Adjustment for a variance on the parking lot paving standard.
That was an Ainsworth Tannenbaum motion. All in favor? The variance is approved. Thanks a lot for being here.
Thank you.
Our next item is, you can just stay here for a while. Item 6E, 601 Robert S. Kerr.
Do I need to reintroduce myself?
Yes, you do, actually.
Okay. Asa Highsmith, Butcher Gardner Architects, 718 West Sheridan. We did a pre-presentation last time. I was just, I guess, nothing's changed on the project. I was going to ask if you guys basically have any questions or if there's any particular points you'd like me to go back over.
I wasn't here, so I would really appreciate to study the plans and understand the little kind of area for like a green area between the buildings. I was wondering if you could show the rendering of the front of or the Robert S. Kerr side of the building, please. Do you have that?
There you go.
Yeah, I just wanted to make a point. I think the building fits the ordinance as well as it probably can. I was just a little concerned about the fact that the dark brick on the lower floor, it is dark brick, right, makes that the kind of the friendliness that or the pedestrian-friendly environment that we're looking for in in all of the downtown is kind of it's a little off-putting and a little dark.
Okay.
And that's just what I wanted to say. I don't know that there's anything that the ordinance would say that would make that not true, but it just feels a little cold, a little dark, and not so much residential. So, one comment.
Is there a particular reason why, I see landscaping rendered there, why you want to continue that and come back for that, or can you explain that?
Design's still ongoing for the site. Part of the uniqueness of this project is because we're building on, grounds with existing apartments, we're building on where really there are only entrances right now. And so to get out ahead of the process, we're going to expand parking, put in new curb cuts that, allows the existing tenants access to their site while we begin this project. So as we're trying to wrap up a lot of the site elements and site design, we wanted to go ahead and come in and hopefully get approved for really just the parking expansion and the building so that we can start the groundwork. Again, do the parking piece so that the existing tenants can access the site as we come back in with really our finalized actual project site design. And as a second
parking
piece.
that they're showing now doesn't technically comply until the landscaping is around it, and they're just not quite there yet.
It's admittedly, it's just by nature having to be a little bit piecemeal here, and I apologize for that, but...
You answered my question. Thanks.
So I have a question. Are you going to attempt to provide like the streetscape that the city is...
Yes, ma'am. I've actually had meetings with both Brandon and Lisa on this, and as you know, I hope you know, we are very big proponents of a lot of the right-of-way improvements that the city does. We're obviously a large part of the Midtown Urban Renewal Plan, and I think we see that as absolutely critical here. The designs that we're working on currently do include some Project 180 type improvements along Robert S. Kerr. Part of what, again, one of the reasons we met with Brandon Milan was to discuss how that maybe steps down for what is likely to become a much more residential street here in the future, with this project as well as the Civic to the south being future projects on the street. So I think that's a very big goal for us, not just to check a box, but to make a really great project.
I guess my only concern is that this drawing does not show any kind of, even though the rendering shows street trees, and this drawing does not show that, and...
Right, it doesn't show it. That's why we want to continue that portion.
Okay.
Or we're suggesting that you turn it over to staff to work with them to locate and document.
Is there any way to make sure, not that we don't trust you?
I think we'd be happy to come back for the site piece. Again, really, we just wanted approval for the parking so we could accommodate the tenants while they begin that work.
Oh, and for the building? Or
Yeah,
will you
we were
bring the
going to
building
start the pad during the same amount of work, because once you have your site guys there to do a lot of that groundwork, like the grading work, it just made sense to have them do as much as possible at once. So that was the idea.
I've also got concerns, I guess, because you've got the building so close to the street, which I know that's urban, but without, I think that's part of our goals, but without seeing how you're going to fit, because you also have to provide sidewalks, access to the building, right?
Yes, yeah.
Because that's not
We
shown
will.
either, at least not on mine, on both sides, which to me limits the amount of space that you're going to have for street trees. And so it all kind of fits together, and I don't see how you're going to fit it all together. It's really...
We're actually just a little bit off the Build 2 line within the ordinance's requirements, but from where the current curb is and how we've went about on the design, I think actually we feel like there's going to be ample room for those type of improvements as we move forward. Again, I think we would be more than happy to come back to DDRC for approval on those site elements. I admit it's, like I said, a little bit piecemeal here, but the hope was to begin the parking expansion now as we wrap up some of the design elements.
So what you're really looking for approval on is the parking lot that is on Dewey and the parking on Rubber Disc Curb, but not actually the
This also includes a parking expansion that connects the two currently at the back of the existing Sycamore site. That upper left piece, the northwest portion does not exist. So we would be introducing that to help connect and, provide basically full passage all the way through the site.
So, again, I never know how far I'm supposed to take this review. But when you put a new parking lot right next to a 14-inch oak tree, you may as well take that oak tree out. And you've done that about 6 times on this plan. And so another question I have is, it seems like I read in here that you were supposed to replace existing trees with the same number of caliper trees. Did I read that, or that's a lot of trees?
I don't know if it was in the staff report. It is in the guidelines or regulations.
I think what he's asking for is to approve this thing subject to revised landscaping plans, and he's willing to come back and do that. I'm subject to that. I'm okay with it. You're going to see it again, I think. Is that right?
Yeah, I think what Connie said was, and that she kind of reflected my concern, is that to get some street trees along Rubber Disc Curb, especially where the building actually comes down and touches the property line, it might be really difficult to get that. I don't, Lisa, do you want to speak to that at all?
Theoretically, you can get them in about, the streetscape zone, the sidewalk zone, and the storefront zone can all be accomplished within 15 feet or less. The sidewalk that Ace is showing right here is wider than it needs to be. There's a lot of nuanced detail that is not documented that would have to be documented to verify that it all fits. The guidelines also provide for that the street trees need to work with the arrangement and massing of the building and the entrances to the building, so that sometimes it's, the 20 feet on center does not actually work. I have nothing but confidence that they want to provide it. They just, at the time these were submitted, which was several weeks ago, they just hadn't gotten there yet.
Anyone in the audience want to speak to this? Do we have a motion? No, come on.
Let me give it a shot. I move to approve the application on the basis the project complies with the regulations and guidelines of the Downtown Design District zoning ordinance as referenced Section C of the staff report, with the condition that the applicant submit revised landscaping plans to staff to include street trees and additional lot perimeter landscaping. Are you guys, is that staff? Are you comfortable with staff?
Do you guys want to see it?
You want to see it?
I'd like to see it.
Yeah, I think we should see it.
And the applicant present those plans to the next Downtown Design Review Committee.
Can you do that in the next meeting in 30 days, or do you need 60
Or
days?
you want it 60 days?
I think for the final site plan, we might need just a little bit more time.
Within the next 90 days. How's that?
Okay, that'd be perfect.
Ainsworth Faulkner, all in favor? Anybody opposed? Good, thank you. Thanks for being here. Okay, next applicant is Brian Fitzsimmons, 1201 North Francis.
Brian Fitzsimmons, Fitzsimmons Architects, 2721 North Walker.
Is this exactly the same as what you presented before?
It is virtually identical.
Seriously? Okay.
Yep. The only thing that's truly changed from the previous submission as far as exterior is finalizing the siding choice. The interiors have changed, and the third floor corridor is revised a bit to accommodate some concerns with exiting issues. So.
Okay. You want to tell us about it?
Sure. So we are looking at, on the top of that, that's the east-facing elevation, which faces Francis. And to the north of that are the existing buildings that this building somewhat responds to with the step-down brick, and then it moves to the inside with the metal siding, and that is the change of siding. In the previous, we had cement board siding, and we're looking at a metal siding on this one, and that is for the minor elevations that are actually recessed and not on the street front. Other revisions, I apologize, there is a minor revision on the west-facing elevation in that we have done attached balconies rather than recessed balconies on the west elevation. But the east elevation is virtually the same, with the large stoops that respond to the existing buildings to the north. And the whole building is a 4-story building, reads like a 3-story building, which the building immediately to the north is a 3-story as well. The lower level has a mezzanine level in it, so it's visually close to a 5-story building total. So it's ambitious in height and scale. It's 45 units with a pretty large variety of mix. It goes from small studios all the way up to 3 bedrooms. So trying to accommodate the entire market. So.
Anything, Michael? Anybody in the audience? Any comments from the committee? I just want to say I like it.
All right. Thank you.
And I like it better than the last time. That's why I asked you that. Is it me? It must
gets
be me,
refined
right?
over time. So.
It's nice.
Okay,
I like it a lot.
thanks.
Do we have a motion? That was a Tannenbaum and Skowthorne motion. All in favor? Any opposed? That was nice for opposing it? Okay. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Congratulations. The next item is the 400 West Sheridan. Is the applicant present?
Paul LaFever for the applicant, Kestrel Investments. What we are requesting today is a recommendation with respect to a closing application involving some rights-of-way surrounding the Stage Center site. Do you have this that you can put up for folks? Yeah. The goal here is in the concept of the new urbanism and working within essentially zero lot line construction. What we're trying to do is to identify the building site, and what this area is doing is taking the site out to the interior boundary of the sidewalks along the three sides, and be very happy to try to answer any questions that you might have here.
Paul, do you know how this happened? How there became this discrepancy? Is it more street easement or did the street get smaller at some point than originally planned?
I'm not sure that I'm understanding your question.
Well, okay, so is the white box is representing the existing property lines, is that correct?
That's right.
Okay, and then the blue part
Is what we're proposing to close.
is pushing that property out to the sidewalk.
That's right.
And I just need a little education here. What caused that discrepancy? Because that doesn't occur in most of the downtown area.
That's right, and to some extent, I may not have total information for you. If we start on the west side, which is the largest area here, just exactly how the right-of-way got to be that wide and the property line where it is virtually predates my working in the downtown Oklahoma City environment that I'm not aware of. Just when in history that got done that way. It's certainly been part of the Stage Center site, though, for as long as I can remember. But the fact of the matter is that the property boundary is almost 50 feet off the interior line of the sidewalk there. The area to the east was created in a couple pieces going back, I believe, to 1972 when there was a deed of dedication, and then last year a correction deed of dedication from Urban Renewal to the city of Oklahoma City, and straightening out just right-of-way areas there as deemed appropriate. There's one little piece in the southeast corner that is a residual from the closing and vacation of California Avenue a number of years ago. And that little piece, I say arguably, reverted to Oklahoma City. And so we are working closely here with the American Eagle Title Company and trying to, first of all, for us to come back here in due course, we present you with plans and proposals. We're trying to set our development site boundaries here, and that's why it's critical to us to, at this step, try to get this figured out.
So the lot and block plat that was done in downtown Oklahoma City was this smaller, and they allowed more for the street easement, it looks like, especially on Walker.
I think that's a fair assessment.
Okay.
It's a historical abnormality here that just has resulted in us trying to do some cleanup work to rationalize the site at this point.
Any questions? Other than me and all my millions of questions, sorry. Any questions from the audience? Well, what we're doing is recommending to the planning, yeah. Okay. That was Tannenbaum. Paula, he didn't have his microphone on. Is that okay? Okay.
Second.
And Ike. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed?
Thank you.
Thanks for the lesson, Paul. Next item. We have a presentation by Douglas Patrick Isk. Oh, wait, no, we have an item.
At the time that the agenda was put out, Mr. Iske had larger scale plans for his building, and since that time, and since the time the agenda was put out, he scaled back his plans and felt it not necessary to make a presentation to the committee. So he's scaled it back just to do some minor storefront improvements and some lighting and some signage that has a wood frame on it on this particular building, and that's a significant scale back from what he proposed to do initially and what he wanted to talk to you about. So he's chosen not to come and make the presentation today.
Okay. You know, one thing I forgot is that we did have an item on the items to be considered that we did not review because the applicant wasn't here. Is the applicant here now? Okay. Why don't we go ahead and do the next presentation and then hear the other one? Is that okay, Susan? Okay. We have Matthew Cragen to do a presentation.
Good morning. My name is Matt Cragen. Mark Roush is here as well. He's the architect on the project. I wanted to talk briefly about the site as it is currently and some of the site issues that we're looking at. Currently, there is a bank building on this facility. The constraint below it is there's an existing sub-level that is 21,000 square feet. So any design that it was to be done or is to be done on this site has to take that into account. For that reason, a lot of the parking that you see and the landscaping that you see or just, a lot of gravel as opposed to landscaping is because of the foundation and structure below it. And the intent is to minimize the amount of water we put on top of the sub-basement. So in that center area, around where the drive-throughs are proposed, that area, is a lot of zero irrigation landscaping to allow us to, restrict the amount of water that we introduce above the existing structure below it.
Question, this site currently has a gigantic drive-through, right?
Yes.
And you're reducing the amount of drive-through lanes by a lot?
Yes. We were, with the exception of the small building that's located on it would be southeast corner, the other existing above-ground structures would be removed and replaced with what you see on that plan.
I'm Mark Rouch with Rouch Architects, and this is a preliminary review. This is not our official submission. We're just trying to get comments on the design we have now, and so we can submit next month to the committee. We've modified the Chase prototype bank building significantly to get it to where it is right now from comments from staff, and we just wanted to get some comments on this design that we're presenting so that we could make revisions if we need to for our submission for next month. We're going to ask for a couple of variances. One is we are pushing the building up against the streets on the north and the west, but our building's not big enough to comply with the requirement on the east. So that's one variance we're going to ask for. The other one is a two-story requirement. We have increased the height of the building, but it's still not 2 stories, but we'd like to ask for a variance on that. I've got an image of the prototype that Chase would like to build, or what they initially would like. Can I show it to you?
Are we looking at it right now?
No, what's in your packet is the revised prototype. We would not let them come to committee with the old prototype. You are welcome to show it, but we would not put it in your packet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Thanks for protecting us, Lisa.
But that's where we started, compared to where we're at now.
One thing, just housekeeping, can you both put your names on the sheet in front of you?
Sure.
More better, and it's just, it's a great use of that corner, which now is kind of ugly. It's just a drive-through. This is my hood, and everything around it is beautified, and this would be a wonderful improvement, the version that we're looking at. It's slick.
Oh, come on, this is a historic building.
Yeah, right.
Sorry.
I have no issue with that. I'm sure the landscaping lady has something to say here.
So there is currently a 21,000 square foot building?
Sub-level basement.
Basement.
We call it lower level.
And where does that
In
sit?
the rentable
exactly?
square footage language.
If you
You
go
want me to
back.
show you? I can point it out to you if you want.
It's hard, there is.
There's a dash line in
Here's a
that
dash line that runs there. It's kind of hard to,
Well,
without
there's
coming up and
all
pointing.
kinds of dash lines on this.
Here, I'll highlight it.
Okay.
I've seen Mark do this in meetings before.
Yeah,
so I can
that's
do
it, and it goes underneath the new building as well.
The blue line is the basement.
Wow. And it's odd. Nothing rectangular about that thing.
Right now, the tellers are underground for that drive-through. There will be nobody occupying the basement when we get this done. It'll just be vacant space, unoccupied.
Well, Dick is right. I do have issues. Well, so just because you have zero irrigation does not mean that it has to be just gravel and rock. And even if it is just gravel and rock, it can be better than just boulders and river gravel. It can look nice and it can look urban.
Yeah, I mean,
Confidence.
the areas that are not above the basement will be irrigated, like the perimeter along the streets where it's not sitting on top of the structure, will be irrigated. The area that I was pointing to is specifically on top of the.
That's what I was talking about, too.
They're still planting.
Okay, I just
Yeah,
wanted
we had
to-
looked at doing cactus. On the landscape plan, it has the plan list of what we had proposed on top,
Well, it looks like most of what's on top of the basement is parking and additional drive-throughs, and you have lots of opportunity to do some landscaping there. So we'll look forward to seeing that.
Okay. So, any specific comments about the elevations?
I don't think the variances are going to be an issue, given that it's redoing a wonderful corner. So if it's not 2 stories, if it's too close to the curb, I don't think you'll have an issue, in my opinion. But come on over and we'll see what happens next month.
And just a comment, I think that what you guys brought us today looks good, especially seeing what was revised as
Well, that other
the chase
building's
on
not
the
terrible. It's just
Now, some people might like that. It's a great location, that's for sure. And you're going to make it two-way from 3rd Street and two-way from whatever,
Isn't there
Broadway.
something on like Western and 22nd that's kind of like this, a Chase building over there, Chase Bank building?
This will be a one-of-a-kind.
Oh,
There
really?
isn't one
But it's
like this
similar.
Anywhere in the
It's got
country.
kind of an arch or something, if I
Yeah.
remember right. Okay, thank you for showing us.
Thank you.
Next item.
Thank you.
Maybe continue that.
Okay. Do we want to continue okay, we don't have an applicant for the legacy or whatever they call that now. What's it called?
Havana.
Havana. Do you like that?
Stuttering
Sorry. Okay. So what do you guys think? You want to continue it? Because we do have some serious issues with that building. I know, but they're...
Beg for forgiveness.
Well, do we want to go ahead and just deny them so that they'll have to come?
I don't know.
Yeah, we'll send Inspector by to see if what they are doing crosses the line from maintenance. You could argue that this is all maintenance, except they're substantially changing the colors. And the material on the gable.
Well, and also the way that gable is, they've created this like funny little shelf, a line.
Ultimately,
Also.
it's going to be a good improvement, but there's no permit for it. They are well underway.
Yeah. So you're going to send we're going to continue it maybe till next meeting?
Move to continue.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, we're going to continue it for 30 days. Okay, anything else? We have administrative approvals, but this has been a long meeting, so we're going to move along. And you can talk to Michael individually if you don't like it. Any comments from the staff? Do you want to talk about that demolition thingy?
Yeah, I have it scheduled for next Friday, but did you all change it?
Oh, yes, we changed it to September 15th.
Okay, I won't be here.
We were getting lots of pushback on the August 29th date because it was the Friday
Labor Day
before
weekend.
Labor Day
Well, three of us will take you out for some drinks and tell you all about it.
I'll be in Gay Paris, and when I come back, I'll bring you a present from Paris, and you can tell me about them.
Okay, and then up in your apartment, we'll be in your apartment.
Oh, you have no idea how phenomenal.
Okay, any comments from the members?
Wait, I'm not finished.
Oh, you're not finished? Sorry.
I haven't even started. Okay. I wanted to introduce Brandon Melland, who's been sitting patiently. Brandon has been with the planning department for 2.5 years, and he was working on long-range planning initiatives, but he has literally slid across the floor and is going to be doing design review for downtown and Scenic River. So he already got, 2 days ago was the filing deadline. So that was the official launch for his work. So he'll be compiling the reports and agenda and answering questions, your hard questions at the next meeting. So welcome, Brandon.
Welcome.
Then I wanted to tell you guys, if you hadn't heard or seen, or if it was off your radar, that on September 9th, the City Council will accept the preservation easement that was promised during the Skirvin renovation. So it's a
What is that?
It's a easement that's tied to the deed that says whoever owns it 1,000 years from now, they can't make any changes to the facade.
Skirvin?
To the facade, that they have to preserve the historic facade. Preserve isn't just not make changes, but they have to maintain, actively preserve it in perpetuity, my favorite legal word, perpetuity.
I like that word.
So it's exciting. It's the city's first one. And it was, again, some may remember it was part of the deal for the Skirvin 8-10 years ago. So
Is that the only one we've got like that?
it's the first one, it's the only one, and Katie, there's a lot invested. So
Wow.
we'll see hopefully it will set an active precedent for other projects.
I just have one other comment. I think Chuck handled the Sycamore thing beautifully, but I'm not sure that it was all that fair because they weren't prepared. And we've sent people back or continued them when they weren't complete. That was not complete. Handled it beautifully. I'm pro-development. I don't want to stop anything, but they need to be more complete. That guy kind of got away with the wrong site plan, the wrong schematic, the whole bit. But I commend you and let him go, but let's see what he comes up with in 90 days after they poured their slab and everything else. Just a comment. It's just not fair to other people.
Well, we have a nice team here, and I appreciate everybody pulling in the right direction, right? Lisa, anything else? I don't want to... Yep. Okay. Anything else from anybody else? Do you guys... You're here to...
No, we just want to say thank you so much. We appreciate the work that you do, and we're happy with the project.
Well, thank you for coming and visiting us. We appreciate it. Steve, anything? Okay. Then we are adjourned.
They've done anything on the corner of 4th and Chartel, where it's